From the heart of Philly, this is CBS News Philadelphia. And right now at 5, two huge fires to tell you about. A wind-whipped blaze sends black smoke into the air, forcing students from nearby schools to shelter in place. A neighborhood was shrouded in smoke and ash.
A wildfire that threatened homes and residents in New Jersey is still not contained. It grew substantially overnight, and today firefighters are trying to get the upper hand. We have live team coverage.
And as they say down the shore, everything's all right, but it's not all fun and games. Workers are scrambling to prepare for the real summer season. We'll take you there. But we begin with that wildfire in New Jersey that forced some people from their homes for hours. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ukee, Washington.
And I'm Jessica Kartalija. We have just learned that the nearly 4,000-acre fire is 60% contained. Here's a live look right now from Chopper 3. And as you can see, the fire is still burning. There's a lot of smoke still in the air. Let's take a look at where exactly this is happening. The wildfire is in Ocean County, and the towns most affected are Manchester Township and Lakehurst. We have live team coverage. Bill Kelly explains why weather conditions and the time of year make it ripe for wildfires. Nikki DeMentri is in Lakehurst talking with residents affected by the fire. But let's start with South Jersey reporter Brandon Goldner. And Brandon, what is happening where you are right now?
Well, Jess, this is one of the neighborhoods that evacuated overnight because of the wildfire. Residents have since returned, but this is what they're seeing, spots of smoke rising up from the woods. Still, we've seen firefighters patrolling this area, searching for any hot spots to extinguish. Now, deep inside those woods is a body of water called Jimmy's Waterhole. That is where the majority of the firefighting action is taking place, hence the name, the Jimmy's Waterhole fire. Neighbors say that it has been an exhausting 24 hours. As she watched the smoke from the Jimmy's Waterhole fire spread closer and closer to her home Tuesday night, Elizabeth Casterlin felt a dreading sense of deja vu.
Going through that again, and here I am getting emotional. Talking about a panic attack, I almost had a panic attack.
She survived 2 traumatic house fires, but she didn't have time to dwell on the past. As flames lit up the night sky, friends helped her evacuate all the dogs she trains and her farm animals.
We have a very awesome community here, a very awesome group of friends, and they all came together for us, so I'm very grateful.
Her home was among 70 in Manchester Township and 100 in Lakehurst that police officers evacuated overnight. New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection's John Cecil says this fire is among the most intense he's ever seen.
This fire exhibited extreme fire behavior. We saw a wall of fire, 200-foot flames, raining fire embers. I don't mean to be dramatic, but this was a severe situation.
So far, no one's been injured and no structures have caught fire. As crews continue working to contain the flames, Forest Fire Service Chief Greg McLaughlin says his main concerns are tired and dehydrated firefighters.
Trying to rotate in and out crews on a regular and routine basis. We're bringing in resources from other parts of the state.
Firefighters are now letting families return to their neighborhoods. And while Casterlin says she plans to go home, she remains on alert.
Keep people who you care about close, and when you have a gut feeling, act upon it, because that's what my gut feeling was last night.
The cause of the fire remains under investigation, though firefighters say 99% of wildfires, whether intentional or accidental, are caused by humans. Back to you all.
Okay, Brandon, thank you for that. And some people in Lakehurst are so glad to be back home after flames forced them from their homes in the middle of the night.
Nikki DeMentri spoke with a father and son who say they never expected anything like this to happen.
This is video from a father and son I spoke with who live just feet away from where the fire came up in Lakehurst. Both say they got the call to evacuate around 11 p.m. Today, they're thankful to be back in their home. The fire is out at the end of their street, but forestry crews and first responders are on scene. They tell me to make sure nothing resparks.
You see it everywhere, but you never actually think that would happen to you, you know what I mean?
I'm Nikki DeMentri. I'll have more from this father and son and their other neighbors. That's coming up on CBS News Philadelphia at 6.
The conditions are certainly prime for wildfires, the weather, nature, the time of year.
Yeah, they make for a very dangerous combination. Chief Meteorologist Bill Kelly is live on the Sky Deck to explain why we all need to be careful. It's so warm out there today, Bill.
Yeah, it's warm and the humidity levels are very low around our area. In fact, let me start you out with some of the ingredients, and the winds are out here, and that's one of the ingredients. You see the camera bouncing around a little bit. But what we look at the moisture that's out, we look at the winds that are out and about, and then we also look at some of the fuels, the vegetation that's out there as well. Let's start with the humidity. You know, 30% or below. That is a low number for the relative humidity values, and right now we're pretty much widespread into the 20s around the state at this hour, anywhere between about 20 to 25%, maybe a little bit more. When it comes to those winds, they're gusting up to 30 miles per hour in spots. So you have your low humidity, you have your wind, and then of course you have the clear skies. You don't have any rain, and you have a lot of fuel that's out there in parts. So look at this map right now where you see the red. That is where we have a red flag warning. Notice the state of Pennsylvania, over into parts of Maryland. It's not in New Jersey, despite the fact that we have a wildfire right now. And you might be thinking, well, why is that? I actually reached out to the National Weather Service, and the state agencies, the state fire agencies, are the ones that make that call in terms of the fuel moisture, how much there is to burn, and it's not quite there in New Jersey to give it a red flag warning. But despite that, obviously we have a huge fire going on, and fire danger remains very high, but even higher in Pennsylvania. So just be careful. And like I always say with these, never ever throw a cigarette out the window, please, for a myriad of reasons. Temperatures right now, we're sitting in the 80s, widespread around the area. It is a warm day. It's going to be a warm evening tonight, 78 degrees here at 6 o'clock. Notice by the time we get to 8, 9, and beyond, we are in the 60s still. It's going to feel like June tomorrow morning with the low. We'll talk about that and how long this lasts in just a few minutes.
All right, Bill, thanks. Stay with CBS News Philadelphia. We are watching this wildfire very closely. And of course, we will bring you any information as soon as it comes into our newsroom to keep you and your family safe. When we are not on television, you can always go to our website, cbsphiladelphia.com.
And just another wind-whipped fire caused concern here in Philadelphia today. You could see the dense smoke from all over the city. I could see it from the stadium complex driving in today on 95. It happened at a junkyard on West Ansbury Street in Hunting Park. The smoke was so heavy that some schools, including Cayuga Elementary, had students shelter in place until dismissal. The fire is under control now, and officials told us they were testing air quality this afternoon. We spoke to some concerned residents in that area.
We seen smoke and explosions, and when we looked up, the whole sky was full of smoke. And when we went to the back, to the middle, where the junkyard's at, they were like tired cars and everything blowing up back there.
I started freaking out because I never seen like an explosion that big. You know what I'm saying? Fire was pretty violent. I was just trying to keep my grandmama away from the smoke. It was really toxic.
There's no word on how the fire started. One person was sent to a hospital for smoke inhalation. Well, today we are learning more about this woman, a mother and beloved school teacher who lost her life while getting her morning coffee. CBS News Philadelphia reporter Matt Petrillo joins us now from outside the Cheltenham Police Department with an update on this very tragic story. Matt?
Ukee, as police continue to search for that gunman, today I talked to the father of Rachel King. He tells me she will be remembered for her infectious smile and her love of teaching. Tears and hugs Tuesday at Grover Cleveland Elementary School in Philadelphia's Tioga section, where students are mourning the death of their teacher, 35-year-old Rachel King. Sixth grade student Jahia Ford made a video and brought a rose to school in honor of King, who was known for her bubbly personality.
When you see her, she smile, she laughs, she asks how you doing, like she'll never be upset. And I just want to make a memory of her by just sitting a rose on her desk.
Police say King drove her Ford Edge to Duncan in Cheltenham Tuesday morning. That's when police say a man driving a light-colored car that was captured on security cameras got out, walked up to King's car, and fired multiple times before taking off.
She was there for me always.
8th grade student Salim Garay says King will be missed at his upcoming graduation.
She was my history teacher. She was my favorite teacher, actually. She meant a lot to me.
Parents add she made a positive impact on countless students' lives.
She was somebody that was able to get the kids out of whatever trouble they was going to get in, or help them with the next move or the next decision.
As students console one another, police are still searching for the alleged gunman's car and asking for the public's help, says Montgomery County District Attorney Kevin Steele.
I hope the community will continue to try to help us. We just need to have that information keep coming to us.
And I also spoke with Rachel King's sister today. She told me that King was working to get her master's degree and had dreams of becoming a principal. Now, instead of planning her future, her family is planning her funeral. Reporting live in Cheltenham, I'm Matt Petrillo. Just back to you.
All right, Matt, thank you for that. Well, young people are supposed to be safe at rec centers, but we have seen shootings and a worker killed at Philadelphia rec centers. Well, now 100 new cameras will hopefully make them safe play zones. Workers installed one of the cameras today at the Marie Dendy Recreation Center. City Council approved the $5 million project 2 years ago, but they say that supply chain issues delayed things. Since 2019, there have been 300 incidents of gun violence around playgrounds in Philadelphia. City Council President Darrell Clark explained how the cameras can capture video inside and outside of the rec centers.
These cameras today will be cameras, and you'll hear from the technicians on the team about the ability to look at areas around the perimeter, literally streets away from the perimeter as people run away from the site. We have to show these facilities will be safe.
Those affected by gun violence have been critical of the lengthy timeline in getting cameras online. Chief investigative reporter Joe Holden is on that part of the story. We'll have that on CBS News Philadelphia at 6 o'clock.
We have an update now to a story we've been following in Montgomery County. A mother is now charged with first-degree murder in the death of her 11-year-old son. It happened in the family's Horsham home yesterday. Police have now charged Ruth Dorenzio Whitehead. According to investigators, Whitehead told detectives she did not want her son to grow up with the family's financial struggles. Police found Whitehead's SUV in Cape May partially submerged in the ocean. She was arrested a short time later in Wildwood Crest. She will be brought back to Montgomery County to face charges. And still ahead on CBS News Philadelphia, Center City often gets a bad rap, and some may say it seems dangerous, but a new study says the numbers show differently. They're not what you may think. We have the new report on the amount of crime in Philadelphia that might start to bring those who may have left back to the city.
The Sixers are just days away from the start of their playoff series against Brooklyn, and we're not just talking practice. We're talking about mindset. So what's the team thinking before they take on the Nets? Don will join us.
And it's something you rarely see in Major League Baseball. We're going to show you what a college softball team pulled off that made the team and the fans just go wild. Be right back.
Hit to the right side, caught by Fessler, and the first runner on first base was off the back to second, triple play!
And the crowd goes wild. So does the announcer. During Tuesday night's softball game between Robert Morris University and Youngstown State, the bases were loaded. When a batter lined out to the second baseman, who then stepped on first for the second out, then tossing over to shortstop for number 3. Way to go, Youngstown, for turning a triple play in the top of the first inning. Nicely done. Rarely see it.
No, I love it.
There you go right there. And when it's captured on camera, that's even better.
The announcer on fire.
He was on fire. Well, the Sixers continue to prepare for their first-round playoff matchup against Brooklyn.
Yeah, so the Sixers will be leaning on their more experienced players now,
Yeah.
or as you like to say, DB, seasoned.
Seasoned. We don't want to call them older.
No.
Right. No, we don't.
They've been around a little longer.
Seasoned. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about this. Steering wheel issues, call a mechanic. Leaky faucet, call a plumber. Your basketball team lacks toughness? Call PJ Tucker. The Sixers got beat up in last year's playoffs, so this season they signed a 37-year-old tough guy to help them out. The Sixers at practice today as they get ready for the Brooklyn Nets in the first round of the playoffs. Tucker has championship experience, and he appears to be built for moments like these. He's unafraid and plays with an edge. The 6'5" power forward won a title with Milwaukee in 2021. Here's his mindset for the postseason.
It's so detail-oriented, playoffs. You get to focus in on a team, their style of play, what you want to do, and how you can be effective and efficient throughout the series. Game by game, just try to build on that and get better and better and better to be able to help your team have a chance to win.
Tucker and the Sixers begin their playoff run Saturday at 1 p.m. against the Nets at the Wells Fargo Center. Coming up at 6, we go one-on-one with groundbreaking Sixers play-by-play announcer Kate Scott. That you don't want to miss.
All righty.
Love
Looking forward to
Kate.
that. Thank you, sir. Hey, while we all have the team together right now, we want to talk about this. So you likely notice we have a fresh new look around here, some updated logos and colors that are a little different from what you've known over the years. It's just one part of an evolution. Here at CBS Philadelphia, we are introducing a new way to share with you what's happening around our area.
Every one of us is about making our communities a better place to live. So we won't ignore the tough times, the high prices at the grocery store or the gas station, and we too worry about our safety, our family's safety, the safety of all of us around us. We will bring these stories right into your home or your phone through the lens of heart, hustle, home, and plenty of Philly pride.
Got that right. So keep coming back to CBS News Philadelphia. We have a new mission, a new mantra, uncovering the heart behind every headline, and you're the pulse to what we do.
Yeah, it looks great. I love it in here. It's nice and bright and clear. It's just like today's weather, Bill.
That's right.
Sunny and gorgeous.
That's true. It is a beautiful day. And I want to throw one thing that I love about this is our commitment to following the stories, continuing to follow, whether it's sports or, even if weather, we have some damaging stuff. We're going to continue to follow that and just be in people's neighborhoods.
We've elevated our game.
Absolutely, we have. That's
good
stuff. All right, so piggybacking on what you just said, gorgeous. Take a look outside right now. This is our live camera here in Philadelphia, looking out over Center City. It's just a beautiful day. I mean, look at these numbers, right? Temperatures 82 degrees in Philadelphia. Same thing with Trenton, Wilmington at 85 degrees. 76 Mount Pocono. It's 82 degrees right now for Allentown and Cape May, sitting right around 80. What can you expect for this evening? Well, how about a 76 degree temperature with lots of sunshine here at 7 o'clock. The sun going down at 7:36, so you still have hours of daylight to go out and enjoy. 70 degrees by 9 o'clock tonight. By 6 or by 11, we'll be at 67 degrees, eventually dropping down to about 60, which is normal for early June. So we're going to be way above normal, and here's why. I mean, look how dry it is. You get into a plane, maybe you're watching us on our amazing streaming app, and if you haven't downloaded the CBS News Philadelphia app, please do. It's an amazing product. But if you're watching us in an airport and you're getting ready to fly, you're not going to see any clouds until you get well past the Central Plains. So it's going to be one of those days, if you have a window seat looking down, you're going to see plenty of earth as you fly across. Looking great. So this high pressure cell, the winds are clockwise, so when it's positioned off to our southeast, the winds are from the south, and that is a warm source, and that's driving in these temperatures that are in the mid-80s in D.C. right now. The record for today is 92 there, 82 in Philly. Our record is 90 in D.C. Ours is 92. 81 down around Virginia Beach, 78 currently for Columbus. So here's the overall big picture. Let's talk about your futurecast and what you can expect as we go into the evening tonight. Skies are clear. They're going to stay that way. Your timestamp here at the top. Out the door early tomorrow morning. You'll want your sunglasses, and you can leave that coat at home. A beautiful start to the day to get out, have your coffee outside, take the dog for a walk, a bike ride, any of those things. Lunch outside. By the afternoon, it's nothing but sunshine. Dare I say maybe even a little, I'm not going to say too warm, but a little warm for this time of year, depending on your perspective. Most of you are going to absolutely love it, but your air conditioner is probably going to be on if it's not already. Then we get into Friday. Friday is another very warm day. Some clouds starting to stream up ahead of our next weather system, our next weather maker, which will impact us here for Saturday. So for tonight, we're going to go 60 degrees. As I mentioned, that is the normal for early June under clear skies, a very mild day. Tomorrow, we're going to go 86. The record is 89, so we're very close to those numbers. And then last but definitely not least, the 7-day forecast. So there's your 86 and 87. We get to the weekend, 70s with some scattered storms on Saturday, Sunday night, and into Monday, our next cold front, tracking some evening showers and storms. We'll be right back.
April is Autism Acceptance Month.
And this morning, some students were the stars of the annual Autism Expo held by the Philadelphia School District. The children, all from Greenberg Elementary, portrayed famous people with autism. The expo brought 35 vendors to their Spring Garden headquarters. Students, teachers, and caregivers were all invited to get information and plenty of resources about autism.
A celebration in Philadelphia's Chinatown. A new mural was unveiled today on the wall of the Crane Community Center at 10th and Vine. It features a 54-foot-tall crane, a symbol of longevity. The mural is called The Past Supporting the Future, and it honors Chinatown's rich history.
Beautiful. Well, stay with us. We have a lot ahead in our next half hour.
There's a new study out about crime in Center City, and its findings might surprise you. I'm Howard Monroe. Coming up, we have that study and also what the city plans to do about it.
Plus, you may be driving an electric vehicle within 10 years. The tough new emission standards that has the auto industry concerned. We may be moving too quickly.
The race is on down the shore as businesses scramble to get ready before the busy summer season. I'm Ryan Hughes with the expectations this year compared to years past during COVID.
Well, now to the latest on that wildfire in Ocean County, New Jersey. This is the scene live from Chopper 3. That fire is 60% contained. The towns most affected, Manchester Township and Lakehurst. We'll try to get that signal back up for you. The fire is among the most intense that firefighters say they have ever seen. 4,000 acres have burned so far. The New Jersey Forest Fire Service says that it is making substantial progress in containing the fire, but it is just unbelievably
It's awful. Yeah,
large.
it really is. Let's give you a live look now at Ocean City. People are down there walking the boards in shorts, as you might imagine. It feels like a day in June down the shore. Over in Cape May, it's a beautiful day as well to do some shopping. We're getting a taste today of summer. You know, business near the beach are not only seeing a spring surge, they're also getting ready for a post-pandemic summer season.
CBS News Philadelphia reporter Ryan Hughes is live in Cape May, where the hustle and bustle is already starting. It's a great day down there, Ryan.
Jessica and Ukee, it is a great day, and one business owner told me everyone seems to be in a better mood when they're down the shore, and I couldn't agree more, especially on a day like today when the weather is near perfect. You can hear the seagulls in the distance there, and many of these stores, they are now preparing for big crowds and a big boost in business. The race is on down the shore to get everything ready before the busy summer season. On Beach Avenue in Cape May, businesses are finishing up last-minute projects and chipping away old paint to clean up their storefronts.
This is the final crunch in time. If they haven't finished the job they were hired to do, you know, the owners will be out there alongside with them getting the work done.
At Elaine's Boutique Hotel, the owners are installing wiring on a newly built bar and outside deck as they prepare for the crowds and a post-pandemic summer.
Everybody, no matter what they say and how safe it is, people don't want to be inside anymore.
Cape May and other shore points are also taking advantage of a spring surge, as many people, like the Walters family, spend part of spring break down the shore.
Been waiting for this for a while. It's a slow march.
We all decided to play hooky after her lacrosse practice and enjoy the day.
With picture-perfect weather, some people even ventured onto the beach. The Greater Cape May Chamber of Commerce tells CBS News Philadelphia last-minute bookings for March and April are up over last year, and the chamber is optimistic about the summer, which is already showing similarities from before the pandemic.
This year, the booking pace is sort of more aligned with the traditional booking pace. People are booking last minute.
And the chamber also says last year, with higher gas prices and inflation, it saw about a 20% increase in day trippers, people coming down to the shore just for the day. Well, the chamber expects that to continue around the same number this summer season. And talking with a lot of people out there, I can tell you with 100% certitude, they are excited and ready for the warmer weather. We are live this afternoon in Cape May. Ryan Hughes, CBS News Philadelphia.
I can tell you are too, young man. Look at that smile. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Great assignment. Well, let's go to Chief Meteorologist Bill Kelly now to get that next weather forecast. Bill?
I'll tell you what, and you notice that Ryan had the short sleeve shirt on, feeling totally comfortable. I mean, it really has that feel out today of, dare I say, summer. We got some low 80s out there. So let me start you out. I want to show you what it looks like, another viewpoint here down the shore. We're talking about Cape May. We're looking down Beach Avenue. And I mean, just absolutely beautiful. Very few, if any, clouds in the sky in the entire area. We look here then at Ocean City, and there are certainly more people on the boardwalk than I've seen so far this year at any given time. The people out on the beach, you see the waves. What a gorgeous, gorgeous day, temperature-wise. 82 here in Philadelphia. Down the shore, we're at 83 for Atlantic City. Wildwood at 80. Lancaster at 82. We got 84 for you guys in Reading. Even Mount Pocono is at 76 degrees. So we have that. It's low humidity. We got gusts of wind that are up into the 25, 30 mile per hour range. So it is breezy. Fire danger is high. Obviously, we've been talking about that. We have the wildfire in Ocean County, New Jersey. Unfortunately, unfortunately for the fire, not unfortunately for just our comfort, but we do not have any rainfall making its way into our area. So we are tracking the fire potential very closely. In fact, the entire state of Pennsylvania and a good portion of Maryland here under the red flag warning. We don't have the red flag warning up for New Jersey or Delaware. It doesn't mean fire danger is not high. It's just higher in these locations. So please be careful if you're going to be out, especially you're firing up the grill. It's a nice evening. You have a little fire pit or something like that, and never flick cigarettes out the window. 78 degrees here at 6 o'clock, 76 by 7. We'll keep temperatures in the 70s all the way through 9 o'clock. Maybe a little dinner outside tonight. Guys, over to you.
All right, Bill, thank you. Philadelphia's popular traveling beer garden, Parks on Tap, is back. The new season began this afternoon. The first location is the Azalea Garden. That's on Kelly Drive between Boathouse Row and the Philadelphia Museum of Art. Parks on Tap will be there through Sunday. The beer garden will move to a new location every week from now until mid-August. Ukee.
Well, a report from the Brookings Institution shows that Center City, Philadelphia, is one of the safest areas in the city. CBS News Philadelphia reporter Howard Monroe is in Center City right now with the details of this new report. Howard?
Ukee, Philadelphia police say there have been 118 homicides so far this year in the city. That's actually down some 9% compared to this time last year. However, it is also very clear that we are dealing with a gun crisis here in the city. But according to this new report, Center City is one of the safest places to be.
Everybody want to make like Philly is the worst place to live. I disagree. So, yes, I love this city.
Charlene Samuels has lived her entire life in Philadelphia, and she says she hates the perception that her city is dangerous.
You know, you have a few issues and things that happen, but we always want to jump to something that's dangerous because of a few people. I think we got to be careful with that, the way we report things.
Others agree that Philly is not a bad place.
You hear the music, the people, everybody's smiling.
Downtown Philadelphia, especially when it's bright out, I don't think there's anything to worry about.
Despite recent reports of youth swarming the fashion district earlier this month, also a man being killed on the Broad Street subway line last week, the Brookings report shows most of the issues plaguing Philadelphia are not occurring in Center City. The study shows citywide between 2019 and 2022, property crime was up 38%, but Center City accounted for less than 1% of that. During the study period, violent crime was also flat in Center City. Amanda Molinaro commutes to the city from Bucks County.
I would love to see more people young people feeling safer in the city, but I still think Philadelphia is a great place to be.
We've been here before when people had a negative image of the city. I don't want to minimize the challenge.
Paul Levy is the president of the Center City District. He says they've added unarmed personnel to patrol Center City. He says the city is doing well in its post-pandemic recovery.
The city is back remarkably. There's more people living in Center City now than there were in 2019. Our visitor levels are at 92% of pre-pandemic levels on weekends and 74% weekdays. So the visitors are coming back.
And Levy says that his staff, as well as police from the city, SEPTA, and the school district, they all meet regularly to address any issues. Live in Center City, Howard Monroe, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Okay, Howard, appreciate that. We have some breaking traffic news for you right now. If you are heading out, I-95 South is jammed. You see it right there on the left side of your screen. The two left lanes are blocked from Broad Street down to Enterprise Avenue. There is an accident there. Traffic is jammed all the way back to Columbus Boulevard. Now, if you do have plans to go that way or know someone who does, you might want to head over to the Platte Bridge as an alternate.
Well, still ahead today at 5, living on Mars, or at least a place that seems like Mars.
We're going to give you a look at a simulated 3D version of the planet. It's a location where a group of people will live for a year. We'll also have this.
A Bucks County firefighter is helping first responders communicate better with people with autism. I'm Madeleine Wright with the positive impact it's having on the community.
Take a look at this lighthearted moment that was captured after a volcano eruption in Russia. A person in a hazmat suit there made a snow angel in the ash. The volcano began to erupt Tuesday, and it has not stopped yet. Some villages are covered in almost 8 inches of ash. The volcano is one of the largest and most active in the Kamchatka Peninsula.
That is unbelievable. The United States will continue to be a partner in building the future. That's the message that President Biden brought to Ireland today. The president was greeted by cheering crowds as he was driven through Belfast. He's celebrating the anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement, an historic deal 25 years ago that ended the violence known as the Troubles in Northern Ireland.
So let's celebrate 25 extraordinary years by recommitting to renewal, repair, by making this exceptional peace the birthright of every child in Northern Ireland for all the days to come.
After speaking in Belfast, President Biden traveled to Carlingford. He toured Carlingford Castle, the last Irish landmark that his maternal great-great-grandfather saw before he departed for New York. President Biden will spend the day tomorrow in County Louth, which is home to other relatives on his mother's side. Then on Friday, he heads to the town of Ballina, where ancestors on his father's side lived. Ukee?
Well, still ahead, we're going to look into the tough new emission standards that could have many of us driving electric vehicles in a decade. Also, the family of this man who lost his foot to a shark describes how the surfer stopped the attack. They say he had to go to plan B. So what was that? We'll tell you after a short break. April is Autism Acceptance Month.
And today we're introducing you to a Bucks County firefighter who's equipping first responders with knowledge to help them interact appropriately with people with autism.
Here's CBS News Philadelphia reporter Madeleine Wright.
Brian Folk is a lieutenant with the Horsham Fire Company. His son Daniel was 3 years old when he was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome.
Things that I learned throughout his childhood that were strategies that help us work with him, I implemented on emergency scenes.
Lieutenant Folk built a training program for firefighters, paramedics, and police to give them strategies to help someone with autism during an emergency and overcome the communication barrier. I caught up with Lieutenant Folk after he provided the training to first responders at the Warrington Fire Company.
Flapping their hands or flapping their feet or staying on their toes, that's called stimming, where they're trying to calm themselves internally. That's out there. So the worst thing they could do is try to stop that behavior.
Lieutenant Folk also teaches how to use the tools in this sensory bag. He says he's given out 150 of these bags to first responders in Montgomery and Bucks counties.
We have noise-reducing headphones because loud noises are something that's very prevalent at emergency scenes. We have dark safety glasses if lights would be overwhelming to that person.
Nick Pascalone attended one of Lieutenant Folk's previous classes. He says he used the training a few weeks ago while responding to a 911 call about a child with autism who was having a medical emergency.
We got the sensory kit out and we were able to use that to help communicate with the individual to make his situation a little better.
Lieutenant Folk holds autism training 30 to 40 times a year. Sometimes his inspiration, his son, joins him.
It makes me proud and prideful to be a son and see all the positive effects and outcomes that has come from it.
A father and son on a mission to educate first responders about empathy and service. In Warrington, Madeleine Wright, CBS News Philadelphia.
We are hearing from the family of a man who was attacked by a shark while surfing in Hawaii. That's Mike Marita, and as you can see from the picture, he's in good spirits. He's recovering after a hospital stay after losing his right foot in Sunday's attack. Experts told the 58-year-old's family that they believe an 8-foot tiger shark attacked him.
But somehow he ended up kind of coming face to face with the shark, and with the foot still in its mouth, he wrapped his leg around it, bear hugged it, because he was throwing punches at it earlier and it wasn't working. So that's when he started going after the gills and the eyes, and that's when he finally let him go.
Marita will undergo another surgery this week, and while he has a challenging recovery ahead, his family says he's already talking about getting back into the ocean.
Well, NASA has built a 3-dimensional simulated Mars habitat, and people will live in it for a year. It was built inside a warehouse at Johnson Space Center in Houston, complete with red sand. 4 volunteers will move in. NASA says the crew members will simulate spacewalks and robotic operations. The crew will also grow crops, exercise, and keep up with their personal hygiene. I hope that none of them snore. That's my first thought. I keep thinking if one of them snores, you guys are in big trouble.
Well, that's true.
My husband snores.
I know he does.
If you
I mean, you've told me. You've told me.
I mean, I'm just thinking if I were stuck there, for the love. Well, if you don't own an electric car, there is a chance you may have to in the next 10 years.
The Biden administration is pushing hard for clean energy vehicles. Today, new emission standards were announced aimed at cutting pollution and increasing sales of electric vehicles. With these regulations in place, the EPA estimates that by 2032, 60% of all cars, trucks, and SUVs sold will be electric. But some say the proposals are moving too fast for automakers to handle.
This is tough work to do. And to go from where we are today in the U.S. to 2/3 of our vehicles being battery electric vehicles by 2030 to 2032, boy, that's a pretty big ask.
Now, there's also concern there's not enough infrastructure to ensure all of the electric vehicles on the road can recharge when necessary. I say, what a beautiful day. It feels like summertime, doesn't it?
Yeah, Bill is back with the next weather forecast. It's fantastic.
Oh, beautiful. I love this kind of weather. We're to the point where a lot of you are probably turning on the air conditioner a little bit. I
did in the car coming to work today.
Yeah, right?
I shouldn't have.
Same thing in the house. It's like,
suit on.
Yeah, you got to adjust a little bit here and there. You said what, Jess? You haven't
I said he was wearing a suit.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's true. That's true. All right, so let me start you out. I want to show you what's going on around our area in terms of our high temperatures today. We got to 83 degrees, which matches the highest temperature that we have seen so far this year. And look at this shot here from Logan Square. Beautiful with the fountain, and you see some of the wind that's going to be blowing around in our area. Well, here it is. You got the winds that are gusting out of the west, and they're anywhere between 5 to 15 miles per hour, and actually gusting up to about 30 or so. And you see the fountain blowing that direction as well. All right, so we had 83 degrees today. That was our high, 55 the low, 63 the normal. So well above the normal, but not to the record, which is 92 on this particular day. The record low, however, 18 degrees back in 1874. What a difference between the record high and the record low. The normal is 43. And where we stand right now, it's still in the 80s. We have 82 degrees with the beautiful blue sunshine, blue sky and the sunshine out there. Dew points at 44, so it actually feels slightly cooler, 80 degrees. You see the visibility is fine, and of course those winds gusting up to 28 miles per hour. So overall, the big picture, this is what we have. Notice that there are very few, if any, clouds up and down the entire mid-Atlantic, all the way back to the west. It is a very, very dry forecast that we have here for the next day or couple of days at least. So here's what we have right now on our futurecast. If you're heading on out this evening, no weather-related problems for you. It's a little warm. Of course, temperatures will drop tonight under clear skies, but out the door early tomorrow morning, 7, 8 o'clock. We're going to be in the 60s already at that time, which is where we should be in the beginning of June. So, of course, when you get the 80s in the afternoon, that's going to translate to relatively warm conditions in the morning, and that's what we'll see. But a gorgeous day, lots of sunshine around the area, even hotter tomorrow, warmer, hotter, depending on how you look at that. Probably mid and maybe even some upper 80s out there. I don't think we get to the record, which is 89, but we are much closer to that, way closer to that, of course, than the normal. And then on Friday, we start out with the sunshine. Clouds start to increase Friday afternoon and evening. It's going to be another toasty day, probably the warmest day of the week with like 87, maybe 88 in there for the high temperature. But we don't expect rain. The rain comes in next for us on Saturday. So this evening, 76 degrees here at 7 o'clock, 70 by 9, 67 by 11 o'clock tonight. Skies are nice and clear, and that will translate right on into the overnight hours as well. When you walk out the door at 6 o'clock in the morning, the temperature at 62. And then tomorrow, here's what we have, 79 degrees by noon, 85 at this time tomorrow night. We'll take a look at the 7-day forecast, guys, coming up in just a few minutes.
Wow, looks good. All right, buddy, thanks so much. Still ahead, April is also National Donate Life Month.
We'll show you how a Temple University student is working to save lives as she searches for a kidney donor. That's next.
The city of Philadelphia announces a new round of surveillance cameras for parks and rec centers. I'm Chief Investigative Reporter Joe Holden. Some people, though, touched by gun violence wonder, why does an installation like this take so long?
See that in just a matter of minutes. Right now, about 5,000 people in Philadelphia are waiting for an organ transplant.
April is National Donate Life Month. Health reporter Stephanie Stahl is here with a Temple student's life-saving mission.
She is a special person for sure. The student is all over social media looking for a kidney donor, but she's also sharing her story, educating people, and hoping to save other lives. Special deliveries for Jasmine Evans. There's a constant onslaught of supplies.
These boxes are the dialysis solution that I need.
The 28-year-old Temple grad student has chronic kidney disease.
All of these tubes are different lines.
She spends every night for 8 hours while she's sleeping hooked up to home dialysis.
This is saving my life, so you know it's a necessary evil. I do not wish this on my worst enemy.
Dialysis is buying her time. She's been waiting for a kidney transplant for 4 years.
It gets to be very challenging, very isolating, very lonely.
But Jasmine doesn't have time for feeling sorry for herself. She's busy studying and teaching undergraduate classes.
So when people look at me, they see this able-bodied young woman, right, who's out here determined and ambitious and going for her goals.
But she says there are plenty of days when she can't get out of bed.
Honestly, it's been the hardest thing that I've ever done.
Hey everybody, April is National Give Life Month.
She's taken her journey to social media, hoping to find a living kidney donor and sharing information.
Stay tuned this month for tips and other tricks.
Transplants in the same race are easier, but not necessary. Still, minorities typically wait longer for a number of different reasons, and only about 30% of organ donors come from communities of color.
They've definitely had some apprehension to a lot of the things within the medical field just because of scientific racism, medical racism, things of that nature.
Jasmine's posts are gaining traction, and while she hasn't found a suitable donor, she's gratified for the response.
I've never started this journey with the intention of being inspiring to people or just an inspiration, but I'm really glad that my story resonates with a lot of people.
All about sharing the gift of life. Doctors say people can safely donate one of their 2 kidneys for a living transplant. We have more information at CBS News Philadelphia.